Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can share their own unique spiritual journey stories with a safe and supportive community. If you have a story you would like to share, please email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. All right, today we have a special guest. He has a unique story. So I would love to hand the mic over to him. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing? It's a pleasure to be here today. My name's Courtney Thomas. A lot of people in the spiritual journey know me as Ketu, but my journey started about it's 2012, 2010 actually, when I had like my first really spiritual experience. Before then, grew up in Chicago, was in and out of the prison systems during my 20s, and it just came to a point where I no longer wanted to live the way that I was living. Um, a friend of mine, she suggested that I try psychedelic. And at that time, all of those things were foreign to me. I wasn't a part of like my neighborhood or upgrowing, but I was in a state of depression and I needed something to transition. And little to be known, that was like opening me up to this spiritual plane or spiritual realm. And it was very eye-opening for me. It was something that took me beyond physical self, and that was all that I knew at the time. And I was able to have like visions into future events that were happening, going to happen for me in my life. And I didn't know how to take all of that, but I'll kind of go into the experience. So what I was shown was that there was a catastrophic event that was coming, and that me and my family had a part to do with that, and some things that I could do to kind of help the situation out. And it was shown to me as like to create an arc. And again, I didn't know any of these things at the time. And what was this arc that I was supposed to create? And I was able to see um, a lot of destruction, a lot of pain. To me, it felt like war. It was a lot of tears and emotions and things that were coming to me because I didn't know how to process any of that. And as the experience went on, it got more peaceful. It was vast, a lot of vastness. And it became peace of where I was to be going in this new journey. And so that was kind of how things started. As I began to progress on, I began to learn more meditation techniques to help to get me to those same spaces without having psychedelics to necessarily get there. And honestly, the psychedelics got a little bit uncomfortable where now here's a way to settle down mind and body and bring that inner awareness to transcend our sensory perception so that we can go to those more spiritual planes. And when I'm there, it's that I'm able to mostly gather information. Sometimes it comes to me in future events, sometimes it comes to me in past events, but the gathering of that information is solidified when I'm able to bring that information back into the physical planes and act on those things to then begin to create and manifest, the life that I live today. And it's still so much more to go with that, but that's how things started. Do you have any like questions on that can guide me to where to go with it?
It's just amazing. I mean, so what kind of experiences did you have when you were doing the psychedelics? I mean, I'm sure you've had all kinds of different visions or out of body experiences is one of the things that we spoke of. So,
Yes.
can you explain how that happened?
Yes. So again, it was about me and the experience of creating in the physical plane. And so what I was shown was they took me back to like ancient, and I say these are like my spiritual guides. They took me back to like we can say like the ancient Egyptian periods because they wanted to show me on how to create such art that they were talking about. Me, when I'm hearing it, it came to me almost as Noah, like Noah's Ark, but it wasn't about water. It was mostly about fire and destruction. And so they showed me an ancient system of building on how the Egyptians were building called geomancy. And geomancy is how, they were aligned with the ley lines. They were building these pyramids on certain mm, planetary longitudes and latitudes so that they have certain connections with the solar system, with the galaxy. And they wanted me to explore a different aspect. It's called it's Vedic architecture, or we call Vastu. And I did, like, again, this was all new to me at that time. But as I began to explore, my own personal journey started to unfold in the Vedic sciences. Veda means actually science. It's the science of life or a lifespan, Ayurveda. But they were showing me the architectural systems. And so when I was able to compare that with seeing what the Egyptians were doing, and then this Vedic aspect, same thing. They were showing how to align with the east directions, using certain gemstones. These gemstones, certain emeralds, say for example, an emerald has the same vibrational frequency as Mercury, a diamond as Venus. The moon is pearl, and they were showing how to use this with architecture so that you can align this structure with the cosmos. And so building them into the foundation stones, certain fences that go around to create an energetic vortex, certain antennas that go on the top of these homes, they call, a vastu. And so this is also like something that connects with that. And by building multiple of these structures, this is what creates that arc or that energetic experience. And what I was shown
Um,
eventually is that it has, again, nothing to do with water. It's our sun. Our sun is about halfway through its life cycle, and it's about to go through what's called a solar maximum. When that happens, it creates solar flares that go out into the surroundings. And because our planet is so close, that it was going to cause some energetic or magnetic interferences. So, in order to stabilize the magnetics in a certain area or completely around our planet, that's more information that they were giving me then, was to build these certain structures. And they create kind of like an electromagnetic grid or consciousness grid. And so I'm working on one more as like in the community that I live in, but I've also been shown how to create one of these to go around our complete planet. And there's 12 different, you can think of them like chakras, 12 different places on our planet where if you build a big enough structure and connect these 12 structures together, then this is how you can create this grid around our planet. And I was also like shown those specific areas of where to build them. And yeah, it's been a great journey. Again, mine comes to me more of uh, information that I can gather while I'm in these spiritual planes, because they want me to actually perform work here on the planet so that we can safeguard some of these natural disasters, because that's really what they are. Once the planet becomes offline, it's a natural disaster that happens, and places to safeguard humanity from moving forward. So, yeah.
yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being that vessel to be able to get this going and to save Earth because, oh my goodness. Wow, that's just awesome.
Such a huge such a huge responsibility. I honestly didn't know how
Yeah,
to accept something like that at the beginning or to even talk about it. Again, I was just about to go to prison for the third time when I got this information. So I'm like, who am I to step out into something like this? But as
right.
I begin to put these things into places and see my life transformed by trusting the intuition and the guide that they were leading me on, then you start to first just not go back and forth to prison. Then it was
Right.
building, business, wellness creation, things that I'm doing right now that, over this time since I followed their guidance, then I'm able to see the minute fruits as in business. We have a nice wellness spa here in Colorado Springs, which is great for our community. And it was some place to
Right.
kind of start me off to build the finances that's needed to do projects of these magnitudes because it's all about the financing of things right now when you're working in the
Right.
physical planes. And so I had to just kind of jump off on a leap of faith that what I was seeing and hearing was something that was for me and trust that. And as I begin to trust it, then more doors begin to open up for me. So it's been challenging, but it's been a delight throughout the process. And I'm just honored to, have been chosen. I
Yeah.
end up naming my son Noah is because I forget it was about this ark that was supposed to be built. And yeah, it's been a great journey. I am looking forward to what's to come because now is the time that I'm actually getting into creating communities that have these effects. And eventually these 12 pyramid towers, they're 108 stories tall.
Oh,
Each
wow.
one of these towers are about $5 billion. So, like again, this is a huge project that
Yeah.
13 years ago was given to me and shown to me. And I had no idea how to even approach it, but you just approach it one step at a time. The community
Yeah.
is more like 20 homes. These 20 homes are on about 6 to 10 acres. And these are would
Wow.
also create this effect, but it's not an effect that would necessarily cover our planet and protect our planet with these electromagnetic fields. It's something that, can protect a certain village or a certain amount of people. And so people need to see this concept to see that it actually works, to see what's actually going on and how it affects the surroundings. And then I think that's when the funding and things will start to come in as I speak more about it, as I
Yeah.
have models that can actually be here to show and that I, start to work in our community, get people to know me, like me, trust me. That's what I'm doing with my, wellness spa here in Colorado Springs. And things I can see how it's going to expand and move into the more global aspect.
Yeah. How long do you expect that to take to
Well,
have all 12 of them?
when I was first shown this timeline, and again, it was uh, because it was a psychedelic experience, I was able to
Yeah.
see it, but it wasn't stabilized. And so when I was first hearing it, it was more like 2030, 2035. And I'm like, man, it's just not enough
Okay.
time. Like I'm about to go to prison now, and this is about to happen, and this. So as I begin to purify both mind and body, and I'm going into these transcendent experiences, then I get more information. It gets it's not as dramatic as those psychedelic experiences, but the information still comes to me exactly when I need it to move forward and when I need to. I think from like last information, it's more like 2050. And I think honestly, that is enough time. Once we have one of them, so the one that was shown to me first, I grew up in Chicago, again, south side of Chicago. And one of these areas where the tower should be built is maybe about 10 minutes from where I grew up. It's right off of Lake Michigan.
Wow.
And
Nice.
yeah. And when I actually got like this validation of all 12 of the areas to see that this one area was so close to where I, you know, grew up, I see it as when I came through the portal to come into this physical form, that this was a place where I had to focus my attention. And I actually had to leave from there in order to find myself. And that's where the first tower that I'm working on will be structured. The land is already there. The land's for sale right now. It's about 322 acres.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
the mayor of Chicago actually was doing some things there, but he got into a scandal or whatever,
Mm.
and they end up losing the land. The guides are protecting that area because that's what needs to be there. It's like on a higher dimensional plane, it's already there. It's
Right.
about bringing it down into this plane here and getting it structured on this physical plane. And so that's the first one that I would see working on. And once that happens, I think the rest will come simultaneously. It takes about a 5 year period to actually construct something like that.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Wow. I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out because even having just the one is going to do a fantastic change on Earth.
it will. So much so. The 12 are all in the 12 time zones. And
Okay.
so there's four in the US. One is more towards kind of like not New York, but New Jersey area. You have the one in Chicago. There's one kind of like in Los Angeles area, not Los Angeles, San Francisco, and then one in Hawaii. So those are the four that's in say the US, and then there's eight more that's around the around the globe. But just to see that one that would bring that coherence, say from Chicago, everything up and everything below that, South America, it would bring so much coherence to that area that I think that it would just fast track the rest of those being built. So it's
Right.
again taken step by step. First is the community. From there, they showed me like what's called a peace palace. These are like 25,000 square foot buildings that you can place in, say, the middle of Chicago, to create coherence, bring peace, or create an energetic coherence, a consciousness grid, or a coherence grid that spreads out throughout the city to bring coherence to that space. So that would be the second project
Wow.
that I'm working on is what's called the Peace Palace. And then from there, there's a bigger building called the Tower of Invincibility. Those are like 12-story towers. So that would be like the first tower that's going. And then from there, we can work into the blueprints for the 108-story pyramids. So they have me working in order. They kind of breaking piece off piece by piece to kind of make me feel a little bit more peace of mind as I move through this journey. But yeah, it's been, again, it's a delight, but it's also, it holds a responsibility.
Yeah.
Um, for me and for my family and for our communities. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm excited. That's going to be so awesome.
thank you.
So awesome. I'm looking forward to feeling the energy that you're going to be bringing to Earth and to bring some of these lower energy people into the higher energy. And would they know? Will they start just feeling that energy rising? Is that
So
how it's going to work?
automatically, this is another reason that they have me working in this field. So like I'm also a meditation teacher. I use a lot of different consciousness-based approaches to help individuals develop higher states of consciousness, you can say. Um, it's okay to go one individual at a time, but to be able to create a structure that brings the same coherence that they would be getting, say, during meditation, to bring that coherence to a whole time zone by creating a structure or a city, just by creating this peace palace. They're definitely caught up in that effect because it's the laws of nature. We're simply working with the laws of nature to create this coherence. And yes, automatically by the people living in that area, in that city, in that time zone, they all just automatically gain a higher state of consciousness. The development of consciousness works better for them. So now they can go out and act and perform and do things that also will be beneficial towards the overall project of what this is doing. Me, myself, I had to go through it as me purifying my body, me purifying my mind, me going through the meditation processes day to day in order to raise my level of consciousness. But to be able to just set a structure down and have that same coherence go out to help the masses and to help them, simultaneously, I think that's such a joy to be able to bring. And so I'm honestly looking forward to just this first Peace Palace. Um,
Yeah.
and bringing that into play. I think the city will be a little, not city, but the small town. Again, it's about 6 acres, 6 to 10 acres, where we could fit about 15 to 20 homes. And I'll also create one of my wellness spas inside of that complex as well. This is something that they've shown me because once we have the acreage and once everything's started, then people can come in with their own financing to build the home, which will start to amplify things out a little bit more. The Peace Palace is probably like more on the 5 million, $10 million aspect. And so once
Yeah.
they have these homes and things going, that's when they want to show me this really the power of what this palace could do inside of a a city that's incoherent, say like Chicago, where I grew up, that has drugs and violence and all of these things happening, to be able to set just a structure down there and then do scientific validation, like work with the crime labs, work with the police, like see how crime is changing, how education is changing, what's happening, and to be able to scientifically validate and see the change, say in a 1 year's time, in a 5 years time from when the Peace Palace was structured, and the trends of what happened 1 to 5 years before that, they'll definitely be able to see. So it'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can just imagine what people are going to see in Chicago.
Mm.
I mean, the people that are living there now and having how they're going to be changing. And it's just overwhelming. It's going to be,
It'll
is
be a true blessing.
oh, yes, for sure. Definitely a blessing. And just to imagine the change and the, just people, it's so amazing. I'm so happy you're doing this. I mean, this is just something that this world can definitely use.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that start working, and I'm trying to raise my vibration. So, I mean, in order to help that out, I mean, wow,
Yes.
wow.
And it just brings a different state of awareness where we all have this innate abilities within us.
Right.
And it's whatever the environment, I mean, the planets are affecting us in all different ways that most people can't even conceive. But to see just how the planets are affecting us, the awareness of that, the structures that we live in and how they affect us. Um, the different, things that we're eating and living and how the lifestyle we are. And so once the masses, once like the square root of 1%, that's really all we need. Like the science has been showing, because there's some of these communities already built in certain areas. I've been able to have the pleasure to live in them. And to see and have that effect on myself, what's going on, what's the internal processes, which helped me to speed up my development of consciousness. To be able to just give that to people who may not necessarily want it because they don't know about it right now, but need it most dramatically. And just to have that change instantaneous, I'm so looking forward to it.
Oh, I feel what you're feeling. I feel your heart just overjoyed with doing this. And
Yes.
my goodness, this is just mind blowing. It's mind blowing to hear this. And I'm just so speechless. I mean, this is just an amazing thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
wow.
And
Can't
other
say
people are
enough.
going to join. I feel like other people are going to join the fight, especially once the awareness opens. And they'll
Mhm.
have access to the spiritual planes as well, and once they can see something beyond themselves, because that's all it really took for me. That first experience was something that was greater than myself, greater than all the experiences that I had, prior to that, which helped me to understand that this physical plane is not all that it is. And it gave me a desire to seek. I've thought of myself as like the restless seeker, but to seek something that was beyond. And that's how like, again, I was going on these journeys of psychedelics. The first one, again, MDMA, this was in 2010. It was a little bit jarring for me. So when I continued on, it was my wife showed me about mushrooms. And so those were a little bit more gentle and helped me to kind of control the emotions while I was going through these spiritual realms to more balance those things off. And then I would do that maybe like every quarter just to get a grasp on everything that happened before then and the information that was being given to me and how to process that and bring that out into physical plane. And then so 2010, 2017 was like my last psychedelic experience. I went to Peru to sit with a shaman. to do ayahuasca. And it was the middle of the rainforest in Tarapoto. Um, they called it an isolation diet. And I think for my personal experience, I had done so much purification from 2010 to 2017 that when I took the ayahuasca, it just completely took my soul, myself out of my body. And at that time, it was really uncomfortable. And so the message that I was given then was, you're in a place of purification. You no longer need the psychedelics. So now you can simply use the tools that we've shown you to sit in silence and bring that awareness within. And within is where everything is. And this is where you can have all of your answers. And so, yeah, 2017 was the last approach with that. And since then, it's been a lot more enjoyable. I feel like the restlessness has gone away. The fear of not being able to meet the timelines have gone away. And I'm able to just not only just function in that field, but like make tangible things happen here on this physical plane to really complete the vision. So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
again challenging, but a good responsibility to have.
Yeah, absolutely good. So, how are other people working with you? I mean, are they understanding what you're doing, or is this just something they're just kind of doing and saying, "Oh, okay, he wants this and this done," or
Yes.
how are they reacting to this project?
So most people who I collaborate with um, aren't so much in the spiritual plane, if I'm being honest. They are people that I've been guided to who have the financial capabilities to make these projects happen. And so as I'm getting this information, it's more like, okay, yeah, it's okay to uh gravitate to people who are in the spiritual field. But a lot of that isn't being translated back to what's happening in the physical plane. When you're in the spiritual aspect, sometimes you can get lost there. And it's so delightful and enjoyable and it's so beyond yourself that some people tend to get stuck in those planes and can't necessarily manifest in these physical planes. And what's needed for me and my vision is to start to create these physical structures. And so they have been more guiding me towards people who have the financial capabilities that could help to get these communities started, these peace palaces going, and eventually these towers. And honestly, they're telling me not to talk so much about the end goal or these spiritual aspects of it, stay tangible with them because they're going to want to return on their investment. And this is the way that they're going to want to work with you. So I completely get it. And
Wow.
especially, I've never been business savvy. Um, my wife is very much that. She is business management, hospitality. She keeps the main parts of the financials and business flowing. Where myself, I'm the intuition. I bring the ideas and she stabilizes those ideas. And so this is who they want me to be around and to connect with is these stabilizers who can really get this thing in the ground and get going. And so I'm more showing them, hey, look at our float spot. Look at the business that we're creating. Right now, we're in the process where over the next 10 years, we're looking at doing 25 locations in our region. This will bring somewhere around 50 to 75 million in annual revenues once these 25 locations are up and going. And so they've been trying to, my guides, show me how to be business savvy so that I can bring these ideas to people who can invest, get a return on their investment, and like real estate. Again, my wife is also a real estate. Her degree background is also in real estate. She's in Women's Council of Real Estate. So we're connecting with people like that, with the
Wow.
builders, the project managers, people who have the land. These are more of the collaborations that I've been making to really fulfill this vision out. And honestly, this is like one of the first times I'm bringing this information out on the public scale. I've
Well, thank you.
mostly kind of, yeah, it's an honor to be here and to talk about this with you because it sits heavy on me and it necessarily
Mhm.
hasn't felt like the best time to bring this to the masses. So I've been focused more on, the wellness spa, the meditation, how I can help them individually. And I feel like it's just time to bring this awareness out. Science is talking about it. I just read an article from NASA where they were talking about solar flare activities and going into this
Mhm.
solar maximum, where I was getting this information in 2010. And there just was bringing this out maybe 2 years ago. I seen NASA talking about solar flares and if our electromagnetic field on Earth isn't in a place where it can take on these solar flares happening, what's going to happen is going to rock the core, the Earth's core, which will
Mhm.
cause all types of things with our electronics and pretty much can shut planet down. Like everything runs off of this right now. So, yeah, to just see different validations from the scientific aspect, from NASA, from other things that I've been intuitively seeing for almost 15 years now. Um, it's just all inspiring. I don't even know what to say about it.
It's got us both all like so excited we can't even speak. I mean, this is just I'm
Yeah,
just overwhelmed with this excitement of what you're doing. It's going to be so amazing. I can't wait to
thank you.
see how things turn out. I am just, what a wonderful world we're going to have. And it's
Thank you.
all thank you for being open. Thank you for being who you are and to doing what they're asking you to do. I thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, this is going to be fantastic. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. If you want to see, I do have a model of what the pyramid looks like. It's actually a constructed model. I'm kind of
Oh,
standing by it. I'm going to start I have these pictures for years now, but I'm going to start sharing some
okay.
more things about it. But the
Yeah.
model is quite fascinating. I'm going to actually do a post today now that we're talking about it and just speak about this a little bit more. So if you
Awesome.
like your guest who's on, my Facebook page is Rishi, RishiK Ketu. That's my business page. I'm also on Instagram, the Vedic one. So you can find me there as well. I'll do some posts about this, soon. And we'll start bringing more of this information out for people who, might have an alignment and who want to join the fight. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, best of luck to you. And I know there's no luck in it. I know this is just going to happen because it's amazing. It's
thank you.
amazing. Well, thank you so much for being with us and to tell us all about this exciting news. I can't even, I don't know if you can feel the excitement in me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, this excitement is just going to be,
Thank
um,
you, Dana. It's a pleasure. I'm glad you have this platform. I do a lot of podcasts, but it's more, me giving out business information or health information or consciousness-based information, or people just like to hear my journey.
right,
But to be able to have a platform where I can feel free and open to speak about other aspects of life that aren't on most people's awareness. Um, it's a delight to have this platform to step on today, and to share this first part of this journey with you on your platform with your guests. So
well,
thank you for providing space.
yes, you're absolutely welcome. And thank you so much for the kind words. And
All right.
if you ever need or want to come back on and tell us some more about your later on when things get moving,
Yes.
come on back. Let me know.
Yes, I will do
All
that.
right.
I'll have some motto. I'll have some actually physical things on our planet at that time, and then we can dive in a lot more from there.
Yay. Yay.
All
I'm
right.
excited. Well, Awesome. Thank you so much again. And if anybody else out there in the world that has any stories that they would like to share of their spiritual journeys, absolutely feel free to email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And we will see you next time. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everyone.